अगर मैं 30,000 रुपये की नौकरी से काम करना शुरू करता, 2.5 से 3 करोड़ का डेट था वो, मतलब मैं कोशिश भी करता तो मैं पूरा नहीं कर पाता. That became like a real reality check that, oh, you know what, the family is really in a bad shape. It's so weird to talk about it publicly, I'll be very honest with everyone looking at me, but that time acting was, oh, you know, you're a nice looking guy so you can become an actor. I basically applied for a purser's job with one airline and you know, I also started modeling side by side. तो उस टाइम पे मुझे पता है 1,000 रुपये मिलते थे एक you know, ad करने के, and after a bunch of things I cracked a campaign and I felt like maybe this is what I could do for a living, you know. And I'll never forget that visual, you know. My father sat us down in my house and we were sitting on the floor with like just stock all around, stocked out. My dad was telling me the story and I was like, holy, what's happening? You know, like when did all this go so bad? I think about a good 8 years, whatever money I made, I was only paying the debts of the business. I repurchased the house that we had sold, you know, just because sentimentally for me, that was my father's first property in Bombay. My first show on TV actually was ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है. मैंने एक दिन शूट करके ना, I backed out of it. और वो स्टार प्लस का प्राइम टाइम शो था 9 बजे का. तो अगर आप 9 बजे के एक्टर हैं तो हिंदुस्तान में आपसे बड़ा कोई एक्टर नहीं है अगर आप हीरो हैं. तो मुझे भी उस टाइम पे ये लगा था कि यार अगर सुशांत kind of cracked it, you know, maybe this could be my trajectory as well. I remember not getting auditions, man. People like casting directors used to not meet you because you were from television. This is the time of when Shah Rukh, Aamir, Salman, Ritik, Akshay Kumar and the likes of those were working. Ajay, Devgn sir, you know, I mean, these were the big boys, you know. So if you were looking for a job, you were looking for a character job in a film to maybe climb the ladder over a period of time. There was an understanding of if you are on a television every single day and if people are consuming you for free, why would somebody pay and buy a ticket and come to a theatre? Fair enough. Is why I took a break from television. I was like, you know what?
Hi guys, it's Ankita Bhalla. You're tuned to Bollywood Bubble, and for today, let's talk to somebody I can claim a bit that I do know off camera as well. For a boy who had a journey which not many know of, for a boy who made sure that he survives and thrives through whatever life throws at him. And trust me, it is just not the TV, OTT, or the Bollywood game. It's about winning at life. So I think Karan will be the best person to tell me what it takes to brave the storms. And ironically, it is also to do with your love for sailing.
Well, I like the connection, but by the way, we don't just you can't say that we just know each other. I think we're good friends.
We're good friends, okay, to be modest about it.
Yeah, if we had to put the rolling footage of the conversation before this, I think, you know, people realize the kind of comfort you and I share as two individuals. Braving the storms. First of all, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. It's so sweet when, you know, you come to an interview or a podcast and you know, when someone re-narrates your journey and you get to see your journey from somebody else's perspective. So thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate you doing that. So neither are my problems special. So if I'm going through a tough time in life, if I'm not getting the kind of work I want to, if I'm financially, I've not had the best, let's say, phase in my life, or, you know, sometimes personally your relationships don't work out, or family or health is not okay. I feel it happens with everybody. Yeah. You know, what's the big deal? So I think it's also a slightly evolved thought that now I don't give my problems that much of an importance, because anyways those are not in your control, is why I don't think that I braved anything. I think I did what anybody else would. यार ये मेरा सपना एक्टर बनना, ये मेरा सपना है एक सक्सेसफुल एक्टर बनना या एक अच्छा काम करना, तो मैं क्यों उसकी दिक्कतों को लेके अपने आप को, you know, एक मैसिकिस्ट नेचर बना के, you know, just you know, reel in it and make it sound like, oh my god, it's so tough. If anything, I've actually thoroughly enjoyed my career. And I'll be very honest, when anyone asks me, you know, what's up, how's work, how's life? I'm often found saying that there's not much to complain about. You know, life is great. Work has been so much fun. I'm really at a point in my career where I'm actually having a very good time. Do I want to do more work? Of course. Do I want to do better work, more quality work? Do I want to do films? Do I want to do bigger films? Do I want to do bigger shows? 100%. And that's the endeavor, right? It's going to stay on for the rest of your life. So long answer short, if that's the only way to answer it. But yeah, sailing, because you touched upon it, this I chanced upon on a family holiday when, it's going to sound very fancy when I say this, you know, as a family, when we were holidaying in Mauritius. You know, I was looking for extracurricular activities to do. And there was there was this one small boat that they give you, and there's a periphery.
Yes.
मेरे लिए भी पहली बार था. मैं भी मतलब मैंने कभी I've never been to waters that have been so pretty or clean.
Okay.
And they give you a boat and just leave you by yourself. It's a very small, tiny boat. जितनी मेरा size है उतनी बड़ी boat होती है. So I was like, wow, this is such a fun sport because you can do it by yourself. You don't need anybody else for company. You can do it at your own time, at your own will. And, given that's my life, so every Sunday now is just dedicated to driving to Kolaba. And I love my Sundays because I'll wake up in the morning, I'll be on the treadmill, I'll do like a good 5K run. I'll have a shower there. I'll drive to Kolaba, which is a beautiful drive now because Mumbai has the coastal roads. And I park there, I'll get myself a nice cappuccino and I'll get on my boat and I'm just lost for 2 to 4 hours just by myself. So I absolutely love it.
Is it escape, therapy, or adventure?
I don't look at it as escape. I'll be honest, I started sailing because, I got bored of Bombay. I got bored of the same things that I do, which is, and before anyone from Maharashtra comes to hit me, I'm just saying that I got bored of my routine in Bombay.
Routine in Bombay. Any other metropolitan routine?
Yeah, like, you're going out, you're trying restaurants, or getting a drink at a bar. You're doing the same mundane routine. So I wanted to do and look at my own city that I'm from a different perspective. And when you're looking at Bombay coastal line from the sea, it's absolutely beautiful. So I enjoy the solitude of it. For me, it's not really an escape. It's just looking at my city from a different lens.
Well, everyone falls in love with Bombay at different stages. I think that's your cute little love
क्या
story.
तुम दिल्ली से हो ना?
मैं दिल्ली से नहीं हूँ, मैं तो पंजाब से हूँ.
तुम पंजाब से हो तो ये मतलब चलो आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि कोई जब बॉम्बे आता है, जैसे मैं आज भी अपनी मम्मी की कहानियां सुनता हूँ कि जब मैं पहली बार बॉम्बे आई थी, आई वाज लाइक क्या छोटे छोटे घर हैं.
हाँ, वो तो मेरे को आज भी सुनना पड़ता है.
So I know where you're coming from, but I feel like there's no other city like Bombay.
Oh, I totally agree.
It breathes a different energy. The life is different. I feel like it's such a big melting pot. Everyone comes with the same dream to become a somebody.
Exactly.
In whatever vertical of fraternity that you
life.
want to be a part of. So I feel like that energy is very different. It's like going to a temple, right? You go to Kedarnath or you go, somewhere which is really religious. Everyone has come there with a certain amount of energy so that temple and that whole space resonates very differently and it vibrates like that. So I feel like Bombay is like that. And sorry, I keep saying Bombay because, I grew up with Bombay. It becomes very difficult for me to pick on to Mumbai.
Yeah, it's Mumbai. We'll stick to it.
But yeah, to Mumbai.
To Mumbai, just in case. Karan, it is brave. Why I call it brave when anyone comes out and admits that, yes, we've had rough patches in our life, especially when it comes to the emotional and financial terrains. I always feel it's very, very difficult for any individual to come out and admit what is supposed to be a personal battle. Recently, when you spoke about your father and his changing trajectory and then you venturing into the business of films to per se, it was 2008, I think, from where the life, if I'm...
17 years minus 2025.
5, yeah. So the graph changed. Yeah. A young boy who's trying to figure out life, navigate what his dreams would be. How... as an individual at that time, you navigated that. Not that what the hardships were, but what was your mind at? It's a space where everyone just wants to have life nice. But then suddenly, hey, you got to grow up.
Actually, it is exactly that. I was just a guy out of college and और ये fact है, I feel like 17 साल पहले when I was whatever age that might have been, like terrible at maths. And let's say the people of that age today, I feel we were very naive. We were very, very innocent. And we didn't know anything worldly. And for lack of a better word, I think we were also slightly dumb.
Stupid.
So I didn't even know what life was all about, right?
Yeah,
Now when I look back at it, I'm like, thank God that experience happened because it really kind of threw me into adulting very quick. And that's actually the only thing that it was. It was, shit's hit the roof. This is how bad things are. And I'll never forget that visual. My father sat us down in my house and we were sitting on the floor with like just stock all around, stocked up. कपड़ों की जो stock होता है वो एक बांध के एक तरीका उसको रखने का.
ध्यान रखने का.
My dad was telling me the story and I was like, holy, like what's happening?
Yeah,
you know, like when did all this go so bad? Because as kids, you know, you also look at your father as your father knows everything. You know, he knows what's happening.
Yeah.
And obviously we were, because I was a student, so it was never like a thing that I was earning. I was working, but I was working for like fun. I used to basically run clubs back in the day when I was in college. I used to do club promotions. But I just did it because I enjoyed going out myself, right? And I was very social at that time. But that became like a real reality check that, oh, you know what, the family is really in a bad shape. And at that moment, we were thinking of actually just fleeing the country because there was no way in hell that we could have paid that kind of loan and debt of the business that we had. And it's so weird to talk about it publicly. I'll be very honest with everyone looking at me. But it was a lot of money यार. उस टाइम पे तो पैसे नहीं थे. उस टाइम ना ही पैसे मतलब कि कितने जीरो लगते हैं करोड़ में वो तो पता भी नहीं था और ना ही सेंस थी. तो that was the only way out. But luckily my dad, I think, really felt के no, yeah, I mean there's a family name attached, so he got a bit how do I say, we got a bit emotional about the fact that I don't want to leave the family with this reputation. So he battled it more than any of us. I think we were still very naive. We just started working. I basically applied for a purser's job with one airline, and I also started modeling side by side. I mean, I don't like saying modeling because people think modeling is RAM, but just like basically छोटी-छोटी जो ads होती हैं उसके कैंपेन्स होते हैं. तो उस टाइम पे मुझे पता है 1,000 रुपये मिलते थे एक ऐड करने के. एंड आफ्टर अ बंच ऑफ थिंग्स आई क्रैक्ट अ कैंपेन एंड आई फेल्ट लाइक मे बी दिस इज व्हाट आई कुड डू फॉर अ लिविंग. एंड एट दैट टाइम एक्टिंग वाज you're a nice looking guy so you can become an actor.
बट क्या वो हमेशा से ड्रीम था भी?
बिल्कुल नहीं था मेरा. तो मतलब मेरे घर में दूर दूर तक कोई फिल्में ही नहीं देखता. होता ना, मैं देखता हूँ दूसरे एक्टरों के इंटरव्यू सुनते हुए कि माई फादर यूज्ड टू लिसन टू म्यूजिक, और दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ ओरिएंटेशन वी हैड, देयर वाज फिल्म्स इन द फैमिली, और लेट्स से एज अ चाइल्ड यू आल्सो एंजॉयड वाचिंग फिल्म्स. We didn't come from a family like that. So it's only in recent times and about, let's say, the last decade that I've really started taking interest in, what the craft is, what my job really entails. Because when you're doing TV, the attempt of television is also very different. The footing of television is very, very different than what I'm doing today. So it never really challenges you to really go out there and learn what the job requires from you. So this is something that I've cultivated over a period of time because I'm like, this is what I love doing. अब तो ये जिंदगी भर करना है, तो might as well just like excel time and again.
But उस time पे the thought process was never to be an actor.
No, दूर तक नहीं था यार. I mean,
you wanted to maybe join Papa and the business.
हाँ, मतलब like any business family, there was a general understanding. My father was like some very top businessman, but still in whatever capacity, ऐसे था कि
that's how we all.
हाँ, मतलब कि काम खत्म करेंगे, उसके बाद पापा के ऑफिस में जाएंगे. हाँ. और यही मेरी trajectory रही थी कि my father was in distribution of garments, and I started retail stores with my dad under the name of Tacker. Which was one, we had two in Lokhandwala, one in Juhu, and one in, a space in Kandivali. So we had these 4 stores, and that's what I did, So it was never a thing that I'll become an actor. And I'll, probably be doing interviews and all like this. And I was, quite frankly, I was never even fascinated with actors. Like, I never grew up with, like, oh my God, I love this actor and I, want to be like him. It's only later, once I joined the industry and I started watching films with that much of keen interest, and I went back to some films that I watched when I was younger, I realized, oh my God, man, I love Shah Rukh Khan. Like, what the hell? This is the kind of man I want to be. This is the kind of love I want. LJ for me is like the epitome and the hallmark of what love needs to be like, If I fell in love again in my life, I would again be fighting it like how Shah Rukh fights for his love, like in the end, like beating up people. Like,
we'll touch upon that touchy topic later about the lack of love, but we will do that.
So my fascination, and maybe sometimes, Ankita, I'll tell you, I have a simple way of looking at things. Like life has its own plan. Maybe this was meant to happen.
So this was in Jalandhar we are talking about.
No, मैं तो बॉम्बे से हूँ.
बॉम्बे से, हाँ. So you from.
मैं तो बॉम्बे से, ये बहुत बड़ी मिसकंसेप्शन है कि मैं बॉम्बे से, मैं सबको बताना चाहता हूँ 3 कैमरा पे, सारे कैमरों को देख के कि मैं बॉम्बे का लड़का हूँ यार.
हाँ, you're born and brought up here. Because when everyone I read about it, I'm like, ये स्टोरी कनेक्ट नहीं करती है, मुझे करण से क्लियर करना पड़ेगा.
नहीं, not just you. I don't know anyone who thinks I'm from Bombay.
Oh,
Nobody other than my school friends, obviously, who I grew up with.
Huh.
Like even right now when I met Rahul outside, Rahul,
Yeah.
interviewing Rahul Dev, and he was like, जैसे तुम तो दिल्ली से हो, तो मैं कहा उनको मैं पूरी अपनी कॉन्वर्सेशन खत्म करने देता हूँ, बाद में बताऊंगा यार मैं बॉम्बे से हूँ, यार मैं दिल्ली से नहीं हूँ.
So for someone Bombay में रहकर भी इस चकाचौंध से दूर, and then suddenly one fine day you realize, okay, shit has hit the roof, I have to maybe take the charge of the household. Ads happen, you saw it as, okay, you can do it. But while we all say कि there is good money, it attracts people, a young mind. But उस टाइम पे क्या वो टीवी शो करना या टीवी में जाना was also coming from the space of that maybe it's stable money. You need some stability, not for yourself, but maybe for your parents to restart again.
यार ऑप्शन ही नहीं थी ना. मतलब आई वाज टू यंग टू बिकम एन एक्टर ऑन फिल्म्स. इट्स नॉट लाइक कोई 22-23 साल का कोई एक्टर था. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द टाइम ऑफ शाहरुख एंड आमिर. And when they were reigning, I mean they're still reigning, but I'm saying when they were in their prime of doing what they was, and Bollywood was very different as a canvas than what it is today.
Yes.
You still see youngsters today, and you see very young actors today. But the general understanding of what an actor was, even I remember Abhishek Bachchan had his launch around when I was growing up, and he was also in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. I'm not quite sure, but when he did Refugee, right? And he was like this man, like when he came, like, but today's, let's say, the people who get launched, like boyish. So at my time, nobody was launching boys as film actors. There was no option but to do television or do theatre. Let's say if I wanted to become an actor, but because I was not really an actor or liked what this was, so going to theatre would have been a very different journey. Plus, I also needed money.
Correct. That was the main thing.
The whole idea was making money.
Money.
And this industry definitely gives you more money than, let's say, at that time, if I had done a job. I remember I had also applied for a job because I'm a management student from Bombay. So my salary at that time, what I was getting, I think was either 27,000 or 30,000 rupees a month, which was a lot of money in the job sector because I was a management student. But अगर मैं 30,000 रुपए की नौकरी से काम करना शुरू करता, 2.5 से 3 करोड़ का डेट था. वो मतलब मैं कोशिश भी करता तो मैं पूरा नहीं कर पाता.
And with all the other responsibilities which were, of course.
Yeah, I mean, and my sister, my dad, we all got jobs. My father, who's been a businessman for 30 odd years, was working with somebody or working under somebody. So it was a very different, it was a very testing time for the family, and maybe comes and sounds a bit privileged to say that, my father had to do a job. But it is difficult, when,
it is
when
hard at the 50 year when you have lived a good and healthy
life.
Like,
as a adult of 2 children, when you've had a business for all your life, suddenly working under somebody can be very testing, for a man or for a woman. But yeah, we all got our shit together and we all worked really hard. I remember for, I think about a good 8 years, whatever money I made, I was only paying the debts of the business. And somewhere after 8 years or 9 years, I repurchased the house that we had sold.
Wow.
Just because sentimentally for me, that was my father's first property in Bombay. And I didn't want to not own that. Because
Where is
in
that
our tough
house?
times,
Which area?
It's a building called Indralok in Lokhandwala. That's the house that I grew up in. So we were on rent in it for a very long time. And then we bought it. And then we had to sell it. So it was weird. So I just wanted to kind of, buy that. And, my dad and I, we both bought it together, at a stupid amount of money. But I just wanted to own it. Today, if I look back at it and let's say if I had to disconnect emotions from it, I would have rather taken all that money, put it in equity, and earned a 20% odd profit like over this period of time instead of putting it in real estate, So that's how I look at it now, At that time, of course, it was, at that time, it was a very different time also where I had this tank of angst, where I was like, yeah, what the hell, what happened with us? How could this happen to us as a family, So it was a very, it was required from my sense of self-esteem for that moment. But it's like once the minute you do it, I feel like that emotion's met, right?
Yeah.
You've climaxed that emotion, it's done, you've moved on. From there on, it's just a memory. It stays. But today, if I had to sell that house, I know that, okay, fine, okay, at one point this happened, We achieved it. My dad, my dad's the best. I learned from my father a lot, actually. My father is the one who says that, don't hold emotions so close to you. It was a time, it happened, it's moved on. This is how business is. Business are meant to go up, they're meant to go down, you're meant to have a financial battle. My father's the one who keeps saying, let's please sell that house and put that money into equity. Why are we holding real estate?
Next time we'll be talking to Senior Tacker.
So you know what I'm saying? So that's where it comes from. So even I'm like that only. I'm like, ठीक है, it was a bad time. आया गया आज interview का एक peg बन गया, So it's literally
and that's how
that.
you go about it. And I think that's also comes from, personally I feel, बहुत emotional healing and growth लगती है to reach a point where you have to take a life with a pinch of salt. Nothing's going to be same ever.
नहीं 100% थोड़ी success भी लगती है. I feel like I don't want to take away from that. Because whoever's watching this will be like, yeah, how do we reach this like this point in our life where we're okay with the battles. And the fact of the matter is that once you reach a little bit of success and you're comfortable in life, only then you can say this. Otherwise, when you're in a down position, at that time to put yourself together is the toughest thing, yaar. It is so hard. And in this profession especially, it's a very lonely battle, boss. Because today when I meet you as let's say I meet you as an actor, हम चाहे दोस्त हैं, but I will always be putting up a front कि यार life is good, life is great, I'm successful, बहुत काम कर रहा हूँ, ये फलाना ढिमकाना. But you don't know कि मेरी जिंदगी में actually क्या चल रहा है.
Correct.
और ना ही मैं आपको बताऊंगा, क्योंकि projection is a thing.
Projection is the key to this business.
So I feel like it is definitely a lonely battle, but well, that's the profession. No one's put a gun to my head. I chose it. So you've got to take the good, bad, and the ugly of it.
It's like, to sum it up, you know your truth and you're claiming it. It's as simple as that. Not everything has to be a sob story, to be honest.
100%. Yeah, it doesn't need to be a sob story. I feel like, in fact, people who, I sometimes even see, like, oh my God, I got injured on set and they make like this whole PR, stint around it. I find it very indulgent, because in my head, I'm like, yeah, you chose the job. You knew it's an action production. When you're going to run and you're going to fall and you're going to get kicked and hurt, you're definitely going to get injured at some point. Making a big deal about it is kind of funny, because I feel like that's the part and parcel of the job. Like, you can have fun with it. Like, I have fun with it.
There's an advice you have for your younger self when he was doing TV?
Not at all, yeah. People often ask me that, do you regret? In fact, somebody just recently asked me, do you regret?
No, not regret. Advice, I would say.
No, like, for example, someone told me, do you regret having doing television? My thing is about उस time पे option क्या थी?
And उस time पे when you were doing TV was probably one of the most popular mediums.
Yeah.
It was. You have to give it.
I still think it is. I think you still have the capacity to become a India-wide actor much quicker than doing a film or on OTT. Because I feel like, how many theatres are there in India? What kind of gente does it really bring in? There is a television set in every single household. So I feel like you can get a recognition of who you are as an actor much quicker in television than you will otherwise. But I could be wrong.
To add to your but...
would I give myself any advice? Not really. Not really. I really enjoyed my time on television.
You've always spoken very good of television. That's the reason I'm asking, because... many good TV actors who, of course, later transitioned into films and OTT also had this one thing that while we really dearly love TV and we are thankful for it, we are also somewhere glad we left it at its golden good point, because then we did see a certain kind of regression with the content, the same thing churning in and out. Do you also feel the same? Because you
Not
have
at all, yeah.
done some
even
really
at the time that I was
successful
doing TV, quite frankly, the kind of content that is there out there, I don't really watch television, so I don't know how regressive is regressive. If anything, I would think it's become a little more today than
of course
than it being yesterday. उस टाइम पे भी regressive shows थे, और ये एक्चुअली regressive वर्ड बना मेरे को गलत लगता है, बिकॉज देखो क्या है ना, हिंदुस्तान जो है वो बॉम्बे, दिल्ली और बड़े शहरों के बाहर है.
Exactly.
ये बहुत बड़ी मिसकंसेप्शन है कि हिंदुस्तान और जो हमारी जनता है, आवाम जो है, वो मेट्रोपॉलिटन और इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग है. ज़्यादातर लोग जो हैं वो बड़े सिंपल हैं, और इन्हीं सिंपल लोगों की कहानियाँ टीवी में बताई जाती हैं, और उसको जब हम रिग्रेसिव कहते हैं ना, तो मुझे बहुत ख़राब लगता है. तो मैं नहीं मानता कि टेलीविज़न रिग्रेसिव है. मैं मानता हूँ कि टेलीविज़न एक परछाई है हिंदुस्तान की, जिसको जितना जल्दी हम एक्सेप्ट कर लें उतना बेहतर है, क्योंकि आज की तारीख में OTT और फिल्में भी रिलेटेबल बनाना चाहते हैं, और इंडिया की ग्रास रूट जो कहानियाँ हैं वो बताना चाहते हैं. We are all trying to be very cool and we're all trying to dress up a certain way because we want to impress our own fraternity. But let's not be ignorant towards the fact that your majority population does not relate to you as people. Because they don't have the affordability of the kind of clothes you wear, the lifestyle, the Instagram lifestyle you're living. So I think we're also somewhere as an industry being slightly delusional when we call content regressive. I think it's a very relatable content to the largest sect of your country. Now coming back to your question, my first show on TV actually was Ye Rishta Kya Kehlata Hai, right? Which was a very desi, very rooted story. मैंने एक दिन शूट करके ना आई बैक्ड आउट ऑफ इट और वो स्टार प्लस का प्राइम टाइम शो था 9 बजे का
9 बजे का स्लॉट और सालों से चलता है
और इस 17 साल पहले जब टेलीविजन चलता था ना तो अगर आप 9 बजे के एक्टर हैं तो हिंदुस्तान में आपसे बड़ा कोई एक्टर नहीं है अगर आप हीरो हैं
सबको पता है करियर्स बने हैं
तो आई टुक अ बैक सीट ऑफ डूइंग अ स्टार प्लस शो विद राजन साई एंड there was a very big feud on it because I backed out of it because I felt कि I don't relate to this right now. I'm not this guy. I could do a younger platform. I could do a cooler show which will have a very small reach, but it's something that I'll enjoy doing. So even at that time where, let's say, so-called regressive content which is there today was there even at that time. I chose to go on Star One, which was a younger platform. वहाँ पे बड़े 3 अच्छे शो आते थे. एक दिल मिल गया आता था करण सिंह ग्रोवर का, जेनिफर विंगेट का. वो बड़ा ही कूल शो था. एक मिले जब हम तुम था. एक मेरा शो आता था लव ने मिला दी जोड़ी. तो ये यंगर शोज थे. They were the cooler shows, or let's say for the lack of a better word, let's say they were the OTT of TV at that time.
It was the very MTV blending into the TV of
correct.
India.
Actually, that's the best way to put it because then MTV and Channel V picked on to that format and Star One shut down, right?
Yeah, and they belted out some really cool shows
correct.
also.
So even at that time, I chose the work that I wanted to do, that I connected more. And I took that risk of leaving one of the biggest shows, which, let's be honest, it's 17 years and it's still running.
It's the biggest, one of the biggest achievements.
So if I had done that, I would have made a stupid amount of money. I would have been largely successful. And I would have never had to look back at thinking where my next paycheck is going to come from. But it's a choice that you make, right? It's a choice that you make. I left that show. And today, Rajan sir and I, we're still, we're great camaraderies. We're still very chatty when we meet. And he still says that you left my show, but he pats me on the back about it. He's like, I'm glad that you did.
Which part did you leave? Don't tell me you left the lead part.
The lead part.
Naitik's part.
Naitik's part. Yeah, I was playing Naitik, right?
So it would have been Hina Khan and you otherwise.
Sorry?
It would have been you and Hina Khan otherwise.
No, so Hina and I tested also together.
Oh, lovely.
So, I mean, we were the parts, right? Hina was playing, I forgot the girl's name in the show.
Akshara.
Akshara, correct. Gosh, you're right.
We are the TV generation.
I was playing Naitik. And I backed out of that show last minute. And I'm not saying this pompously. I'm just trying to explain that
you backed
these are
your
choices that you make.
Yep.
So I don't know what actors you're talking about because I feel like I have immense amount of respect and love actually for television. I really enjoyed my first show, which is Love Ne Mila Di Jodi. Because you're a bunch of 6 young people. It was me, Gaurav Khanna. Let's just do, we were young people. I can't remember anybody's name.
Yeah, because I can only remember Gaurav only. Maybe because he's in the VIP at the moment. So that's why it's striking.
No, we removed that part. Huh? So we were 6 young people in the show.
We were 6 young people in the show.
And we used to love shooting together. मतलब हम उस टाइम पे ना हमारे पास मेकअप रूम्स नहीं होते थे. हम 3 लड़के एक मेकअप रूम में थे और 3 लड़कियां वो एक मेकअप रूम में थी. तो और हमारे मेकअप रूम ना आमने सामने थे. तो हम क्या करते थे कि लंच टाइम पे ना जो पेटियां होती हैं सेट पे जिसमें सारा सेट वेट का सामान होता है तो हम ना 3-4 पेटियां साथ में रख के ना उसको एक डाइनिंग टेबल बनाते थे. तो हर बंदा अपने घर का खाना वहाँ पे खोल देता था. And we used to really have a good time. Like I have such fond memories of my TV days. So I don't know. I don't know what these actors are talking about. I think television was fun. It was great. I've always enjoyed reliving memories and meeting my friends from TV.
Then when was it for you? You decided that elevate करते हैं थोड़ा सा काम.
हाँ ये correct word है because I don't want to sound like a hypocritical कि मैंने TV छोड़ दिया और मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि बहुत ही अच्छा था.
Elevate भी मैंने इसलिए बोला क्योंकि आपने मुझे शुरू में कहा था कि आपको एकदम से नहीं वक्त के साथ एक्टिंग से प्यार हुआ.
Correct.
तो आपको वो एक मोमेंट शायद कहीं आया होगा कि मे बी आई स्टार्टेड फॉलोइंग इन लव सो लेट्स बी बेटर एट इट लेट्स डू मोर वर्क ऑन इट लेट्स मेक इट मोर पॉलिश. सो व्हेन डिड यू डिसाइड टू एलिवेट इट?
एक्चुअली ये रियलाइजेशन मुझे झलक के टाइम पे बहुत आई थी. मैं जब 1000 में शट एंड आई डिड झलक एज अ कंटेस्टेंट. That's the first time I got introduced to the world of, let's say, what filmmakers are going to be. Because there was Karan Tacker.
Oh yeah, the judges used to be and the star judges used to be.
There was Madhuri ma'am and there was Remo sir. So for me, that was the first rubbing shoulders with people from the film world. And I was like, wow, this is cool, man. This is what stars are like, because, Karan Johar was Karan Johar. I mean, today he's a friend, so, I look at him differently. But for me at that time, I was like, oh my God, Karan Johar, like, it was like such a big deal. And it was Madhuri Dixit, who I had such a crush on through and through my entire life, right? So, in fact, even till date, man, I mean, I'm so shy in front of her because I have only one photo with her in my entire time of knowing her, which was Jhalak, which was, I think, goes on for about 3 odd months. I never had the guts to go and ask her for a photo. I met her at a concert. It was a John Legend concert.
Oh, yeah.
And she was with her husband. And I requested him. I was like, I'd love to get a picture with ma'am. And she was gracious enough to give me a photo. That's the only picture that I have with her. And I'm still, I mean, she's just so pretty. But yeah, I mean, so Jhalak was my first time rubbing shoulders with the big wigs of the film fraternity. And I was like, oh wow, this is where it all happens. Because आप कितना भी टीवी कर लो, आप कितना भी OTT कर लो, आप फिल्म्स का एक अपना रुतबा है, एक अपना एक चार्म है, उसकी स्टारडम बहुत अलग है. Because when you consume an actor over buying a ticket, I feel उसकी वैल्यू बहुत अलग है.
And उस टाइम पे OTT नहीं था.
ही नहीं ना.
Exactly, it was just TV.
टेलीविजन था या फिल्में थी.
And films बीच में कुछ नहीं था, कोई दायरा नहीं था.
तो मेरे को तब लगा कि मैं कहा नहीं यार, फिल्म अब यहाँ अगर आ ही गए हैं, मतलब अगर ये कर ही रहे हैं और जिंदगी भर करना है, तो फिर मतलब फिर तो फिल्में करनी है. करके भाई एक बार तो कोशिश कर लेते हैं. और उस टाइम पे सुशांत had already become सुशांत, right? Because he had, I think, done 2 Jhalaks before me, and
and then Kai Poche and all the
correct. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know how girls maybe do Miss India, and then think that films is the trajectory. Maybe even I felt that Jhalak might be the trajectory because, of course, you looked up at your seniors.
And Jhalak was a really big
show. And at that time, Jhalak was really a big platform.
Because you had both TV and film
I don't
stars
know if Jhalak
competing.
is still there right now.
It is.
But तो I think मुझे भी उस टाइम पे ये लगा था कि यार अगर सुशांत kind of cracked it, maybe this could be my trajectory as well. And he had already become like, Sushant Singh Rajput, right? So that's where it happened, that I felt like, okay, fine, luckily I'm still at the peak of my career in television. कि आज अगर मैं छोड़ दूँ, मैं फिल्मों में फेल भी हो जाऊँ, तो लोग मुझे सक्सेस के लिए याद रखेंगे, ना कि यार कि मतलब फेल्ड हो गया तो इसलिए इसने मतलब टीवी छोड़ दिया. तो मैं कहा री एंट्री करना थोड़ा ईजी हो जाएगा. बट ठीक है, I never really had to look back at it. Today life is quite in a good space.
Is there a particular film you fell in love with or which changed your view कि acting ऐसी भी हो सकती है? Because now when I see, if anyone follows Karan and goes to his Instagram post, I think all the quotes I always find about the actors, the best scenes, the motivation from them. So that's why I'm asking, what changed for you? Which film, which play, which book, anything?
Yeah, but difficult to put a finger on one.
Okay, give me 3.
Because I feel like entertainment का ना एक charm है, वो आपको ना एक दुनिया में बांध लेता है. मैं थोड़ा मतलब इसको और कोई तरीका नहीं है बोलने का. तो I feel like वो दुनिया हर एक फिल्म ना you get tied in very differently. So for me, there's been a lot of heroes of mine, like for example, like Shah Rukh Khan is one of the biggest examples, and I know like most male actors, young actors will be like, Shah Rukh Khan was the guy. But it's so true, yeah. We all learned how to love only because of the films that Shah Rukh Khan did.
And he spoiled the generation.
Yeah, like, I mean, my treatment of, let's say, somebody that I'm attracted to or somebody I'm in love with, or my idea of going on a date would have a large impact comes from how Shah Rukh Khan dealt with women on screen, yeah, So that's the honest truth of it. So DDLJ, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, that's why Karan Johar is one of my biggest heroes, and I think for most of the young actors, everyone wants to work with a dharma, right? Who in their wildest dream would say that, no, I don't want to work with a dharma?
Everyone wants to do a dharma. Like they do something right with love.
Something new with dharma. Like something you want that branding on your back, boss, मैंने भी dharma की एक चीज तो की है.
Dharma boy, as you call it, dharma girl or dharma boy.
So, and then, then there's definitely a lot of international stars that I think leave a great impact on you. There's Fight Club, Brad Pitt, Edward Norton. There's my biggest hero will always be Denzel Washington. So I feel like there's no greater actor than him. I fell in love with Martin Scorsese films. Robert De Niro became like my one of my heroes. I fell in love with DiCaprio, and this is an ongoing love, quite frankly. Like I said, I also started understanding films. मैंने जो पिक्चरें देखी थी, एक बार जब आप एक्टिंग करना थोड़ा बहुत समझ जाते हो, आप जब वापस रिविजिट करते हो तो आप उसको ना एक अलग नजरिए से भी देखते हो एज एन एक्टर, क्योंकि आप सीखने की भी कोशिश करते हो ना, बिकॉज टेक्निकली फिल्में और कंटेंट ही आपका क्लासरूम है. तो यू ट्राई टू डिसाइफर कि अच्छा ये एक्टर ये परफॉर्म कर रहा है, इसने क्या बैक स्टोरी बनाई हुई, कहाँ से आ रहा है, ये कहाँ से, मतलब he's
got that emotion
reaching
rolling.
this emotion. Then Christopher Nolan became one of my men who I felt like, wow, this is one of the greatest directors of our times. Tarantino, I can keep going on because all these people leave such an impact on you and the kind of work that they do. Tom Cruise, people today resonate with, let's say, the Mission Impossible series of Tom Cruise, but I feel like he's one actor who's done such a massive diverse things, and he's a good looking guy. Given the fact that he's good looking, he's done such different things, it's him. Then Jake Gyllenhaal, I feel like, is one of the most underrated actors. While of course, this is my thing that he's underrated. Everybody knows who he is, but I think like he deserves so much more for the kind of work that he does. My off late god is Cillian Murphy. I love Cillian Murphy. I think I was just watching one of his films last night, Small Things Like These.
Oh.
And I made my mother sit down and watch. She doesn't watch a lot of films, and she's not like a film buff. Like my dad and I, we watch everything together. My mother said to me after the film, she's like, you know what? That's the kind of actor you should be like. Like I felt everything he felt, So Cillian Murphy is my god. Like I was just telling a friend of mine today on the treadmill that before every project that I start, it doesn't matter whether the character's got to do anything with it or the world. There are two people whose work I just revisit just to ignite the fire in me as an actor. It's Denzel Washington and it's Cillian Murphy. So I'll rewatch Peaky Blinders. It just makes me really happy. Like I love his performance. I love Thomas Shelby. I love everything about him that show is. And I'm going to sound very mainstream when I say this, and I watch everything Denzel Washington. I just feel like it just lights me up. And I'm just alive as an actor, and I just want to go out there and I want to do my best. So I feel like it's different people. Oh, sorry, I missed Ranbir Kapoor here. Ranbir Kapoor, man, gosh. I love Ranbir Kapoor. I love everything Ranbir Kapoor. Like even, I feel like there's someone second to a Shah Rukh Khan who's left you with what love needs to be like. It's everything Ranbir Kapoor has done. So it's Ye Jawani Hai Deewani, it is Channa Mereya, it is Tamasha, Imtiaz Ali. So I feel like you can go on because once you start falling in love with the films, then it's a very, very,
So now I get where the elevation part happened.
Like you
fell
just
in
find
love.
yourself so indulgent, and like it's just a habit that I'll watch at least one film a day, if not one episode a day. That's my afternoon routine, and I know it sounds very privileged to say that this is what I do for a living, but that's the job.
But that's what you actually do for a living. That's your job.
And I absolutely love it. So every afternoon, post my workout, post lunch, my dad and I sit before my dad takes his afternoon nap, and we watch either one film or we'll watch some kind of content.
When you were
I forgot what a question was only, by the way.
No, we were talking about the elevation of, this is the beauty of having a conversation. But when you decided that, okay, we are elevating films as the main thing you would like to try, let's give a reminder to everyone, while you were very successful at TV, you were not coming with connections or contacts and nobody was referring you that, listen, you could be my next lead and, I would like to make this film with you or that project with you. Rejections also come then easy. Why in this respect? Because you have seen success at TV. How was that phase to navigate in the transition?
Gosh, it was damn tough, yeah. It was really, really tough. And it was not a fun phase. I'll be very honest. It was a very, very tough phase. Because truly there was, this was a time when there was no OTT.
Yeah, there was no middle way too.
इतनी तो फिल्में नहीं बनती थी. आजकल तो बहुत फिल्में बनती हैं. और बहुत सीरीज बनती है. तो इसलिए मैं बोलता हूँ समटाइम्स कि आज की तारीख में काम मिलना बहुत ईजी है. So people who are not working in times of today, I feel like there's something you might not be
doing right.
There's a stone that's still left unturned. Because at my time there was literally only films, and there used to be maybe like 3 films of maybe 5 films where they'll probably try out a new actor, that also in a character role. Not
Lead
as a hero.
Was very difficult.
Yeah. I mean, not at all, because this is the time of when Shah Rukh, Amir, Salman, Hrithik, Akshay Kumar, and the likes of those were working. Ajay Devgn sir, I mean, sorry, sir after everybody because I don't want to sound disrespectful, but yeah, these were the big boys, So if you were looking for a job, you were looking for a character job in a film to maybe climb the ladder over a period of time.
To be seen in the right place.
And that was the way of going forward. But there was no work. Nobody entertained me like I thought. I mean, I would have liked for it to. I remember not getting auditions, man. People like casting directors used to not meet you because you were from television. And there was a straight up thing that if you've done TV, no one's going to give you a film.
Yeah, that stigma many people battled for a long, long time.
It's still there.
It's still there.
It's absolutely still there. But at that time, it was really difficult to even get a meeting with a casting director. Forget getting an audition. And no filmmaker met you. And I understand you because that was the nature of the business, right? There was an understanding of if you are on a television every single day and if people are consuming you for free, why would somebody pay and buy a ticket and come to a theater? Fair enough. Is why I took a break from television. I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit back. I'm going to wait my turn if that's what it takes. And at least once I'm going to give it an honest try. And frankly speaking, there was a film that happened, the really, really, like with the biggest of them all, but eventually it did not see the light of the day, and that really broke my heart. It really set me back a good 2, 3, 4 years. But yeah, I mean, what do? You just move on. And somewhere around that time, I think, Netflix came into India and they were doing Sacred Games, and I got to know that, oh, you know what, Anurag Kashyap and someone like Vikram Aditya Modhwani are making things for Netflix. So that means that the social fabric and the fabric of entertainment is changing. Maybe this is what I could do. And again, there also, it sounds like but there also they were only looking at stars. Yeah,
because it was a big deal when Sacred Games came to India. We had Saif and Nawaz.
Yeah, they weren't shopping for new actors at all, and they were definitely not shopping for actors from television. Even though I would look at it that if films are 120-minute formats and you want to make content over 8 to 10 hours, the best candidate would be somebody who knows long formats, which would be an actor from television.
Exactly.
But even today, actors from TV, I don't think get the kind of work that they would want to do.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's when the second part of the struggle started. But having said that, I think it turned around. It turned around. Special Ops happened, and
it was a long wait because in this entire
7 years,
period,
boss.
You were
long
like
is an understatement.
Yeah,
I did TV for 5 years,
and then you went missing for
and
7.
I waited for 7 years. So I really.
What were you doing in those 7 years?
I was hosting shows. I was hosting reality shows. I was hosting and dancing at weddings. I was doing whatever it took to run my house.
Why didn't you do Big Boss?
Yeah, Big Boss is not my scene, yeah.
Because normally people always say it's like a big ticket to be seen.
Correct.
At that time especially, for sure.
I think like Big Boss really throws you out in front of an audience, and people love consuming people from Big Boss. No, I've seen, yeah. I've seen my entire Instagram is always filled and flooded with people from Big Boss.
Careers have capitulated from a Sunny Leone to, like, we have examples if I have to start picking out.
नहीं ठीक है, जिनको मजा आता है करने में मजा आता है. मुझे तो देखा नहीं जाता है. मैं इतना तो लड़ाई झगड़े देख नहीं सकता जितना वो लोग कर लेते हैं. और I feel like Big Boss की भी अपनी एक जेंट्री है, जिनको देखने में मजा आता है और जिनको करने में मजा आता है. मुझे वो क्षमता नहीं है रियलिटी शो वापस करने की. मैंने एक किया था और वो एक करने के बाद मैं समझ गया कि आई एम नॉट द राइट पर्सन फॉर दिस, बिकॉज आई एम नॉट एन एंटरटेनिंग गाय. I feel like reality requires you to be entertaining slightly on the front foot.
And in general, in real life, you have to be like...
You have to be slightly more flamboyant with your sense of entertainment. And you have to be that much more exuberant. Now, unfortunately, I'm not that. So I'm not somebody who can play that world. So for me, a Big Boss or any other reality show was always something that I didn't look at all. I hosted them. I hosted India's First Voice.
Yeah, you did a lot of hosting in those couple of years.
I can't remember for the life of me. I hosted a very cool show on Amazon. It was called The Remix. It was India's first reality show, which actually was India's first entry into the Emmys. But this is way before social media kicked in, so we never became a big deal. I never became a big deal because of that. Today, to matlab, I feel anyone who goes to the Emmys is widely celebrated, and rightfully so. I just wish that at my time,
it would have happened.
We were celebrated as well, because that show won 7 international awards around the world. for being the best non-scripted reality show. That was a really, really cool show. So I did a bunch of those, and rest, I sat back at home. So that's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the job. Even in my times when I was sitting back at home, I learned it early on that an actor's job is to wait. It's to wait for the right project. It's to wait in the vanity for your shot. It's to wait until something goes on floor. You are spending more time waiting than working.
So are you still waiting for that Bollywood moment which you are looking for? Or have you now
No, I
let
think
go
this
of
is
that?
Bollywood now. I think Bollywood has the understanding of what Bollywood is or Hindi film industry is, I think has also widened.
Yeah, like you're still stuck to the idea of a commercial film to be part of. Is it still there in your head?
No, would I like to do a film? Yes, I would like to do a film to enjoy the medium of a 120-minute project. कि 120 मिनट का है, उसकी परफॉर्मेंस बहुत अलग होगी, उसकी परफॉर्मेंस की शार्पनेस बहुत अलग होगी. लाइक जैसे कहते हैं कि एक एक्टर जब थिएटर पे परफॉर्म करता है, एक स्टेज पे परफॉर्म करता है, वही एक्टर जब अगर वही प्ले को एक फिल्म बनाकर करे तो उसकी परफॉर्मेंस बहुत अलग होगी. OTT बनाकर करे तो भी परफॉर्मेंस बहुत अलग होगी. आप उसको अटेम्प्ट पूरी मेहनत से तीनों तरीके से करोगे, बट आई फील लाइक उसका एक अटेम्प्टिंग तरीका बहुत अलग होता है.
ग्राफ अलग हो गया ना करण.
Like exactly. So now my desire to do a film is not to become a film star. It is to now test out the model of what a 120 model is going to be like. Which I think also now over a period of time is going to become a 90-minute model.
Yeah, with the way things are changing.
Yeah, with the way things are changing.
इससे पहले कि सब मुझे हेट करें एंड आई नो विल बी क्लोजिंग टुवर्ड्स द टाइम, तो करण हम हेट इसलिए करेंगे अगर मैंने आपसे आपकी लव लाइफ के बारे में नहीं पूछा, क्योंकि जो इतनी गर्ल फैंडम जो बाहर बैठी है जो मुझसे बाद में इंटरव्यू निकलने के बाद पूछेगी. सो इज करण सिंगल?
Karan single.
Guys, you can slide in DMs.
So funny
just
talking
saying.
about myself in third person, but yes, I am single.
Like, so you can slide in DMs if you want to. If he replies, up to you. But what's your idea of love?
What's my idea of love?
Or somebody who like loves DDLJ. So what is the idea of love? Chalo do mujhe.
I fell in love once in my life. I have to explain this because it's going to sound. I mean, I did fall in love once, and at that time, I fell like knee deep in love. And my understanding of love was very different. But thanks to that love, I feel like today I've learned to love differently. I feel like, also when you come of age, you start rationalizing emotions and you realize that it can't just be all heart. There has to be an understanding. There has to be a friendship. There has to be a sense of mutual respect for each other, each other's families, each other's lives, each other's professions. And I feel like today love is not just defined by an emotion, it's defined by a lot of understanding of two people. Because see, attraction, beauty, physical attributes, and the spark are the first thing that's going to go out of the window, right? Real life only comes after that, which is going to be, and which has truly become my understanding of companionship, of disagreements, and how you deal with disagreements is what defines your love.
Ah, that's nice. I'll take it.
क्योंकि एक चीज़ कांस्टेंट है किसी भी रिलेशनशिप में, वो कोई भी किस्म का, चाहे दोस्ती हो, प्यार हो, परिवार हो, वो है झगड़े.
तो होंगे.
वो है डिसएग्रीमेंट्स, वो है बिकॉज ये और जिनके साथ आप जितना वक्त बिताओगे उतना ही आप ज़्यादा डिसएग्रीमेंट्स में होगे.
करेक्ट.
उन डिसएग्रीमेंट से किस तरीके से आप डील करते हो, मेरे हिसाब से वो प्यार है. क्योंकि आप उतना ही कंपैशनेटली किसी को हैंडल करोगे कि आपके और मेरे बीच में झगड़ा हो रहा है, मैं आपकी बात से बिल्कुल सहमत नहीं हूँ और ये मेरे पे पर्सनल अटैक है, पर मैं अपनी फीलिंग्स को असाइड रख के पहले आपको कैसे कंफर्ट करूँ. आज की तारीख मेरे हिसाब से इसको प्यार बोलते हैं. बिकॉज अपनी फीलिंग्स को समझना तो सबसे ईजी काम है.
करेक्ट.
पर अपनी फीलिंग्स को साइड में रख के किसी और की फीलिंग्स को समझना बुरे वक्त में, आई थिंक उसको प्यार बोलते हैं. तो it's difficult to give it one word that what is love, but I feel like a love now is a combination of all of these things for me.
Contrary to what people feel, I think that there is barely any chatter around your love life in general. You're an extremely private, you're a very personal person. I have known you for quite some time and I know you keep things to yourself. It's not something you will go around the world, and even if you are with someone or not, it's not like your Instagram diary. to put it out and to flaunt. It from what thought does it come that that relationship needs to stay with me in an Instagram age where everything, and especially when you're a public figure, sells?
That's why they call it private life, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, the simple answer is that today my private life is meant to be private. It's not for social consumption. It's not for the consumption of PR. I have never enjoyed the idea of throwing my relationship into a public speculation because I feel like लोग ना चीज़ें ख़राब कर देते हैं, you know. और मुझे लगता है एक चीज़ों की खूबसूरती behind closed doors है. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I hide my personal life. I'm very, very public with, if I've been in a relationship. My friends know, my closest friends know, my professional friends know. I've never hidden my relationships because I'm also somebody who loves going out. I love going out. I love dining. I love going out for a drink. I love the idea of I love the idea of having multiple dates with my girlfriend. If I was in a relationship all over again, I would want to be out with my girlfriend every single day. Now, that's the kind of guy that I am. So I don't really hide my relationships. I just keep it away from the social media and the idea of, I know you're a journalist, but PR. And not for any other reason because I feel like it doesn't require it to be there. And I think that's the charm of it, right? I mean, it's a beautiful thing between two people. It should remain there. It should be behind. Like, बचपन में तो हमको ये सिखाया था कि don't wash your dirty linen in public. आज बड़ों के भी भाई मतलब values के साथ बड़े हुए हैं तो उसके पीछे और कोई reason है नहीं actually.
That's lovely. So I'm going to wrap this.
इसलिए मेरे कोई breakups का भी कोई ऐसा कोई public narrative नहीं है.
हाँ, मैंने बोला तो मुझे आपकी love life मेरे लिए कभी न्यूज़ में इतनी रही ही नहीं. It's not that there have not been instances, but it's not been a headline worthy instances, I would say, because I think.
और actually मैं ना वाकई बड़ा public हूँ मेरे relationships को लेके. ये I think ये मीडिया की कहीं मेरे को लेके रिस्पेक्ट है कि और मतलब रिस्पेक्ट कि दे ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड कि आई एम दिस काइंड ऑफ अ नेचर्ड पर्सन सो आई वाज बम्प्ड इनटू लेट्स से व्हाट डू यू कॉल द paparazzi the paps so many times when I've been on a date or I've been with let's say my girlfriend at that time and they've been very respectful about the fact that I don't want to be like photographed at that time and they've been chill about it. So I think it comes from all of that.
So I'm going to close this with quick 5 with you and you're going to tell me, number 1, what's the biggest fitness or diet myth people need to stop believing since you are so much into fitness?
First I want to tell you, everybody thinks that I don't eat like normal home food.
You do.
Which is very difficult to explain to people. People think that I'm like on some what knows what kind of diet.
I would. Right? It don't so much.
But I want to tell everyone that I think, eating food, being happy is more imperative than having abs through the year. I've seen people who have the best bodies and just look depressed. I feel like being happy.
And you often talk about it on your social media very often that healthy living is more important than just 100%. Having your six packs.
मुझे कोई शौक नहीं है बॉडी बनाने का, मुझे कोई शौक नहीं है एब्स का. ये मैं अपनी बात कर रहा हूँ. मुझे ज़्यादा शौक है खुश रहने का, अच्छा खाना खाने का, अच्छी ज़िंदगी जीने का. मैं एक्सरसाइज हर दिन करता हूँ क्योंकि मुझे एक्सरसाइज करने में बड़ी खुशी मिलती है. अब मेरी बॉडी खूबसूरत है, ये इसका साइड इफेक्ट है. बट मैं सब कुछ खाता हूँ. लाइक कल रात को बैठ के आई फिनिश्ड एन एंटायर बॉक्स ऑफ रॉइस all alone. And that's just the guy I am. Like, I eat a lot, but I ran 5 kilometers before coming for this interview, so it's just, I like to balance it out.
Nice. Okay. If you wake up as SRK tomorrow, what's the first thing you will do?
Tell the world that I'm Karan Tacker.
I like it. Was there a role in Bollywood or a film in last couple of years which you really...
Actually, if I woke up as SRK, can I just tell the world that please give Karan Tacker every single film out there? That would be a better one, man. That would be a better one. That would be a better one.
That's your way, SRK style. Okay. If is there a film out there in the last couple of years which you have seen and you really thought that I could have done this, like I would have been great in this, and it could be anything. It could be just work you admire.
I generally by nature have a habit that when I see an actor breathe life into a character, I can't imagine any other actor playing it.
Oh, so it's like that for you. Like you are the image for
because
me.
I feel like you're enjoying it only because someone is breathing life into that character from their personal life's experience, right? So how can you imagine yourself living somebody else's life better? Would I like to do certain parts, yes. But do I think that I could do it better than someone else? Not at all. Is why I've never even understood awards. I feel not no. I just feel like awards in general. Awards मतलब आप स्कूल में जब आपको रेस में भगाते हैं, आप सब वही 100 मीटर भाग रहे हो ना.
Correct.
तभी एक बंदा जीतता है. आप 5 अलग फिल्में, 5 अलग जॉनर, उसमें से कैसे यू कैन पुट देम इन अ कॉम्पिटिशन? या तो सारे वो 5 एक्टर सही फिल्म करें and everyone attempts it
Makes
from their
sense.
vision, then you put it in competition. I can understand. Is why sometimes I feel like maybe it's also like entertainment, like awards are, right? But I feel awards also sometimes I feel like are not the most rational way of looking at it.
It's a good explanation. Like, if unless we don't have 5 actors playing 5
Then you can
variations
say
of
that this one's
Devdas.
better than this one.
If you have 5 different variations of Devdas, how
And I
can
can't
you
even
say
say you
better?
can say better. You can say an interpretation.
Everyone has their
right?
own style.
Correct. So that's why I can never see myself play something better. If that material came to me, maybe I would interpret it differently.
If there is a book written ever on your life, what the title would be?
One, I feel like no one needs to write a book on me. It's giving yourself too much importance.
No, it's just a hypothetical thing. Like, if ever.
If ever someone had to write a book on me.
Or how you will sum up
The
your
Private
life.
Affairs of Karan Tacker.
Saucy. I think that's nice.
Because that's the bit that no one knows.
And lastly, this is the most fun one. If tomorrow you were invisible in the industry for a day, whose office would you like to sneak into and why?
Shah Rukh Khan. I say this often. I don't want to meet him as the actor. I want to meet him as the mind that he is. I think he's so smart. There's a reason why he's the second richest actor in the world. And he is who he is and where he is. I think he's the most wisest person in the fraternity. I would love to just be invisible and be wherever he is. Even if it is in the bathroom that he claims to spend the most amount of time.
Rumor says 5 hours, so yeah.
No, he says it himself, right?
Have you ever met him?
Yes.
Do you remember that meeting? Like, what changed inside you? I think they say don't meet your heroes, but what changed?
Nothing changed. I think for me, I don't look at it like that. He is my hero. Every time I've met him, I've only felt the same amount of love for him and the same amount of adulation for him. I recently at a friend's Diwali party had a little jig with him on Chaiya Chaiya. And it's magical every single time. Yeah, he's got such an aura and
Everyone says so.
no, and I'll tell you something about Shah Rukh Khan. I can't remember what award or what it was. It was somewhere. I think it was the Melbourne Film Festival, and I was hosting that, if I'm not mistaken. And you realize Shah Rukh Khan is coming 7 minutes before Shah Rukh Khan is coming, because there is a movement which just you feel that okay, fine, you know that he is coming, and it feels like a film. It feels like there is music going on, and there's going to be an entry, and you see like a barrage of people, and in the middle you see Shah Rukh walk in. Like, he's a vibe, man. That guy is a zone.
I think in my career, whatever little interactions I could have had with him, one thing I always notice is the way he treats the human beings in the room. He would treat everyone almost with the same kind of love and respect. Especially being a woman, I can claim the privilege of being treated far more nicely, because he'll hold your hand, he'll look into your eyes and then answer your question.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, I'm sorry for the word, but I just melted. And then
You're so right. So this Melbourne time that also I'm talking about, right? I of course didn't know him at all. I met him once briefly on stage as an interaction when I was hosting some award, and he obviously doesn't know who the hell I am, right? And when he was walking with his people, right? And मेरे मुंह से निकल गया, मैं कहा, sir, and it's sometimes it's not even to stop somebody, but it's just like it came from there, and he actually stopped. And he said hi to me, and he said hello to me. He shook hands with me. He hugged me. I can promise you, he had absolutely no idea who I was. He had no idea I was hosting the show, nothing. But I think he was just courteous enough that someone asked him to wait. And he waited, and he met me, and he gave me a hug. And that's the guy he is, man. He's so cool. He's so cool. Even at this Diwali party that I'm talking about, like, he's so disconnected from the fact that he's Shah Rukh Khan. Like, he's just so chill. He was sitting like that, with all his friends, and I was just looking at him from a distance, and I just said hi to him. He said hi to me, and just ushered me, "Kya aaja, thoda aage aaja." And I came and I was just standing there. Sometimes it's just nice to be around atmospheres like this. So it was kind of cool.
Well, for the love of SRK and for the love of films, I hope that whatever you want in terms of craft, it comes to you with not so long amount of wait. But yes, now we have discussed the calendar and then how tough it looks to score work than to do work. I hope it happens. Huh?
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for this conversation.
What a fun chat. I just, when you gave a sign off, I realized that we're actually doing this for a professional
I don't know.
podcast.
It just I just realized हम बहुत देर से बैठे. Everyone is looking at us कि चुप कब होंगे. But I had fun.
नहीं मजा आया बात करके मुझे भी बड़ा अच्छा लगा.
I wanted to, as I told you, my only intent was that there are stories out there, there are headlines out there. How about knowing the person out there? That's the only idea. But thank you again. And I hope that next time we have another project this time to discuss and we will dissect that. Aram se, itminan se, but
done.
To more love, to more luck, and to more SRK wala pyar.
No, thank you so much.
Always.
Hi, I'm Karan Tacker, and you're watching me on Bollywood Bubble.